Okay, everybody, it is time once again for another episode of Brawl News, and can I just say that there's been so much little things being leaked or actually confirmed in this next update. It's really piquing my interest and keeping me really engaged with this next update that's coming around the corner. But we have one thing confirmed coming in this next update, and it's probably the biggest confirmation that we've had on being a big addition for this next update, as well as a very small thing that we can speculate on that might be a bit of a reach, but it's still fun to speculate. So hope you guys are all pumped up. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to be covering in today's video is the huge thing that's being confirmed coming in this update. And I gotta say, I'm really hyped up about this. It has to do with matchmaking, and it's a really good remedy to solve some of the problems that we have with matchmaking and some of the problems that a lot of people are complaining about with matchmaking. Now, to give a little context on the problem that we have with matchmaking that this new addition to the game is based around, or should I say the thing that a lot of people have a problem with matchmaking, can be seen in our Behind Brawl Stars number 6, where we discussed matchmaking with Danny that we made 2 months ago. The biggest complaint that I saw when answering questions for me to answer or to give to Danny was about hopping into a match when you're really low in trophies. Maybe you're playing with a friend and you go up against these crazy high opponents when you're really low in trophies, being at a crazy big deficit with power level as well as just experience in the game. So it doesn't reward you being able to play with buddies that might be a bit higher than you, and not even that. Sometimes you queue up to it if matchmaking is a little bit goofy. You'll hop into it, you'll be like 300 trophies, and you'll get into a game with 600 trophy players, and that is not a good thing. So I introduced to you all the new matchmaking mechanic confirmed coming in this update, Underdog. As you can see on this post, we have a little glimpse as to what it's going to look like when it's actually implemented in the update. This is a picture from dev build, and we have a little header when someone is queuing up into the game. We have a post called Underdog. Now, before I get into what this is all about, I just have to add that I feel like the Brawl Stars dev team did an exceptional job with remedying this problem. If you guys don't know, matchmaking is a very touchy subject. It's very difficult to tweak. With my interview with Danny, it was definitely plainly obvious to hear. I feel like matchmaking is a very intricate thing and it's very difficult to change. So I feel like this mechanic is definitely a fantastic alternative to actually just fixing or switching around matchmaking. So what it's all about is, as you can see, I'll read a little bit here. Many of you provided feedback about matches that feel unfair because a player's trophies were lower than what they should be. We hope that we have a solution to this. First, a bit of background on how matchmaking works. This problem can often arise when groups of 2 is paired with a solo player. So then the post goes on in explaining in great detail why this problem arises. The big problem that we have with matchmaking, when we see all these pictures posted on Reddit and on Twitter, people saying, what is this matchmaking? When you're at like 250 trophies and you get paired up with 500 trophy players that are at much higher power level than you. So basically the way that matchmaking works inside of Brawl Stars, in very simple terms, and to wrap up this whole entire explanation, is that matchmaking has much more weight given to higher trophy players. So if you're the highest trophy player in your group that you're playing with, say at 700 trophies, your teammates are at 500, matchmaking is going to prioritize your trophy level. So you're at 700, you're going to more than likely be matched up against 700 trophy players or higher. And this is very important. You can't really get around this because, as you guys can see in this post, they explain that this is a really important mechanic to avoid exploits with the matchmaking, so people can't rake up in unfair ways with trying to manipulate the matchmaking system, getting into really easy games, which we've seen in the past before this implementation. So this basically can't be changed, as annoying and confusing as it can be when you see these posts on Twitter saying this matchmaking is rigged. So this new Underdog mechanic is being implemented into the game to give a little bit more reward or value to the player that is getting queued up into this unfair matchmaking, not necessarily the lowest trophy player. So I'll explain here. As you can see in the third paragraph, we always want friends, regardless of trophy level, to be able to play together. Brawl is just more fun with friends. So we're introducing the Underdog system. In the above example, Frank will become the underdog. In that example, Danny and Ryan are playing together. Danny is at 700 trophies, Ryan is at 400, and Frank, a 700 trophy player, gets queued up into that matchmaking. So he becomes the underdog because it's not fair to him that he's playing with that group of 2 because he's at a disadvantage because of Ryan. Dang it, Ryan, what'd you do that for? Here are the details. The underdog system is only used in 3v3 modes and does not affect solo or duo showdown. Your underdog status will be shown when you're entering in a match and also at the end. You can become an underdog in 2 scenarios. The first scenario, you are matched with 2 other players who are in a team and have 200 plus trophy difference between them. Also, number 2, you have matched against an enemy team whose average brawler trophies is 200 plus higher than your team's. And then continue further. Note, if you use play again, you will lose your underdog status. We're excited to release this feature in the next update. Keep an eye on YouTube for the new Brawl Talk, which will explain everything else that's on the way. So this is a huge implementation and gives a little bit more leeway to the players that are getting into this unfair matchmaking, so you don't just feel helpless. So if you do lose, it's not as big of a hit, because there's literally nothing worse than getting into a match and losing and you have no control over it and you lose all those trophies because of it. With matchmaking, it's like a third-party thing. You don't have control over what game you're being placed into, so it can be very frustrating, and I understand this. But this underdog system, I feel like, is like the perfect way to remedy the situation without actually switching things around, which, again, like I mentioned before, I feel like it's going to be difficult to actually switch the matchmaking. I don't think we actually can do that. So these are the things that we need to be implemented into the game to fix that matchmaking. And the final thing that I'd like to bring up about this underdog mechanic is that it seems you're only really going to be able to utilize this if you're hopping into random gameplay in 3v3 game modes. From the very first explanation as to how you unlock underdog, you get it when you're matched up with 2 players, so a group of 2 that have 200 trophy discrepancy in between them. So you are that random queuing up into that group of 2. And then the second one, you are matched up against an enemy team whose average brawler trophies is 200 plus higher than your team's. Now, this one is a little bit more confusing. It seems that you might be able to get this on a team, but the only thing that I am trying to figure out is how's that going to work. Is your whole team going to get underdog if you're queued up into actual organized team comp, but you go up against these 1,000 players that we've all done before? Is your whole team going to get underdog? If so, then we're going to be able to utilize it in organized team comps as well as 1v1s. But if only one person can get on your team, then it makes sense that it's only going to happen if you are solo queuing. But I'm not sure yet. We'll have to wait on more detail and experimentation once we get the live build or the dev build, when we get sneak peeks coming around the corner. So sorry about the lengthy explanation. I'm really hyped up about this implementation. I feel like it is the perfect solution to this problem without actually switching it around and causing mayhem in the matchmaking with that result. So yeah, guys, let me know what you're thinking about this underdog mechanic. I am over the moon about this. It is such a great addition to the game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it works when it is released. So let me know what you guys are thinking. And the final thing in regards to speculation on this update that I'd like to get into in today's video that is definitely much more of a reach and not 100% confirmed, definitely not even talked about that much in the community, has come from a VOD from the World Tournament for Brawl Stars. A lot of people pointed this out in the comments of my last update speculation video, and that is some of the brawlers had different star power icons. Now, of course, this is probably due to just internal error of the graphics that were put in this tournament, but still, it's fun to speculate on things. For example, as you can see, the Tara has a different star power icon, and there's another example as well, Tara having Shelly's band-aid icon, and there were a few different examples from Carl. I feel like a lot of people are saying Carl had different icons and things along those lines, but it's more than likely just a internal error, but one can speculate that maybe they're doing some work behind the scenes on the star powers that may make it into the next Brawl Stars update. Not sure, definitely much more of a reach, but I thought it was interesting to bring to your guys' attention. And the final bit of news that I'd like to share with all of you guys isn't necessarily update related, but still very impactful for Brawl Stars that you guys should know about if you're not following it. And that is the Brawl Stars World Championship. The March Championship was concluded, and the winners of it was Team Clash, the very first winners of the first month of the Brawl Stars Championship. Really awesome, guys. If you guys didn't watch them, I highly recommend you go over on YouTube and check out the VODs of the whole entire stream. It is super entertaining, so much fun. And might I add, this championship was a huge smashing success. As you can see, the first day we had 1.9 million views, and the second day 2.1 million views on an esports live stream. That is literally all you can really ask for if you're a fan of Brawl Stars esports. And I've always been a big condoner for Brawl Stars esports. I feel like it's really important for the fun of Brawl Stars, the love for Brawl Stars, as well as the longevity of Brawl Stars. If esports can carry Brawl Stars for a longer duration, its lifespan, I'm all for it. And might I add, Brawl Stars, I feel like, is the funnest Supercell game to actually watch. It's really entertaining, so make sure to go check those out on your spare time if you would like. So yeah, guys, a lot of really interesting things coming around the corner. Make sure to let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below of all these new things coming around the corner. I feel like these Brawl news episodes are coming much more frequently because of all this fun stuff that the Brawl Stars dev team is like teasing us with about this update. I mean, this Underdog mechanic should have been like a huge feature in an update that wasn't like leaked out. So it's giving me hope that this update might be a little bit on the bigger side of things. So they keep giving us these like little leaks, these little things to speculate upon. It's so much fun. This update, or this build up to the update, I'm all for. I'm having a blast. Hopefully you guys are as well. So if you guys are excited, make sure to slap a like on it. I really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.